If you've ever watched high-level gameplay of Rocket League, then you've probably seen the Airdribble. It is one of the coolest, most useful, and most versatile shots in Rocket League. If you don't know, an Airdribble is basically where you fly while balancing the ball on the nose of your car. It is quite difficult to do well and even harder to use effectively, and today I'm going to show you how to do it. There are three main parts of the Airdribble. First, the setup, then the lift, and finally, the directing. These three steps are what make up the most useful and efficient Airdribbles. First, the setup. When starting out, the setup is very important, but as you get better, you'll be able to start Airdribbles from more awkward situations. To set up an Airdribble, you need to get the ball rolling towards the wall at a pace that is slightly faster than your car's driving speed. Make sure the ball is rolling flat on the ground and not bouncing. Stay a little behind the ball until it begins to roll up the wall. You want to be driving at an angle so that when you hit the ball, it won't go straight out and it won't go sideways. This will take a ton of practice, so don't feel bad if you can't do this first try. When you hit the ball, you want to hit the ball about here. Really, it's roughly anywhere in this range. Finally, jump off the wall. You really want to try to jump off the wall immediately after hitting the ball, or right as you hit the ball, but not before you hit the ball. So to set up the Airdribble, roll the ball towards the wall, hit it about here, and jump off right after. The next part of the Airdribble is the lift, or the momentum building. In this phase, what you're trying to do is create either enough lift or momentum to make it to a place where you can direct the ball into the net. This part is one of the most difficult in the entire process. Whether or not you create the lift or momentum depends on how hard you hit the ball in setup and where you hit the ball in setup, but they both have the same basic ideas. First, right after you jump off the wall, you need to air roll into a good position so that you'll be able to maneuver normally. Next, you will need to get a few solid touches on the ball. This can be done in a few different ways, but the way I found to work the best is by bringing yourself under the ball and then boosting upwards. This doesn't need to be perfect, and you'll have to figure out how to do this well on your own, but I've got a few tips that help me. 1. You do not need to worry about where you're taking the ball until it has momentum. Trying to go off the wall and straight into the goal doesn't work. There's too much space in between and there could be defenders that you'll have to adapt to. To counteract this, it is very effective to get solid touches and then work from there. 2. Stay under the ball. This is something I didn't hear until about 750 hours of playing Rocket League, and it totally changed my game. Anytime you go for any mechanically challenging shot, like an Airdribble, double tap, or flip reset, the only way you'll get it consistently is by being under the ball. This allows you to have more control over the ball and get better speed and accuracy. It also lessens your car's recoil after touching the ball. Staying under the ball is the #1 way to get good lift and momentum. The final step in an Airdribble is to direct the ball into the goal. It is extremely hard to keep giving the ball lift and keep control towards the end of your Airdribble, so instead of trying to carry the ball the entire way, if you've built up good momentum and gotten a good lift, you can pretty easily get 1 or 2 touches to put it into the goal. If you got bad momentum and bad lift, it becomes much harder to take it all the way into the goal, meaning you have to carry it for longer, which is much more difficult than it has to be. Directing the ball into the goal isn't something you should worry about until you're able to get the ball into the air and keep it there for a few seconds. After you're able to do that, directing is pretty easy. The best way to do it is to build momentum in the general direction of the goal and then pick a spot on the goal and get a few touches that are a little harder than your previous touches. Getting these touches to direct the ball correctly isn't too hard, and if you've made it this far into the process, just tinker with it until you find a good way to do it. A good tip is to try and balance the amount of lift and momentum you got in phase 2. So if you got a little more lift, when directing it, give it a little more momentum, or vice versa. Those are the 3 steps of a good Airdribble: the setup, the lift, and the direction. Let's look at an example real quick. So here I start out with the setup. I hit the ball in this range right here, then jump off the wall immediately. Next, I get a lot of lift. I do this in 3 touches, pushing the ball upwards as quickly as I can. Please notice I am under the ball. Next, I give it a little extra momentum because I didn't get as much as I needed in the lift phase. And finally, I finish it off by directing it into the net with 2 extra touches and send it top left. So there you have it. That's how you Airdribble in Rocket League. I hope you enjoyed this.